Alexandro, can you introduce us the action of the Institute Iles do Brasil?
Okay, I can try. Well, the Institute is an organization, is a small organization in south of Brazil, and we work with the marine conservation, the conservation of biodiversity, but not just the conservation to the animals or the wildlife, but we work to promote the value of the people who live near the ocean, like the fishermen and small communities. And we try to do that to create some scenarios to promote projects with environmental focus and social focus. And we make this in different areas in Brazilian coast. We have a lot of islands in Brazilian coast. These are really beautiful areas, but these are really sensitive areas too. So we work with one very, very important goal is to promote environmental education linked with climate change and the consequence of the climate change. Because the people who live in that area will be affected directly with that scenario.
Can you explain us why the islands are so important for Brazil?
The island is important for Brazil and to every country around the world because it's very important to the biodiversity. Some species just exist in some islands, and it's very important because it's a very sensitive ecosystems. And the islands will be the first environment, first areas who feel the impacts of the climate change. So you can saw that in the Pacific Islands, but now you can saw that scenario influence some islands in the Atlantic Ocean too. So Brazil needs to start to discuss this, to prepare the people for that new reality.
Can you tell us why the knowledge of the local communities are so important socially and environmentally for Brazil?
I think the actions in that small community is really important to the people, to the Brazilian people, but for the world. Because in these small communities you can find some values, some simple kinds of life. And this is important to show, to know how to live in our planet. Because one of the most problems in our planet is because you need a lot of things in the urban areas, in the big cities. You need a lot of energy, we need a lot of materials, you need of different foods, you need a lot of entertainment, and we know this is have an impact, a global impact. So in that small community you have a traditional knowledge about the environmental things, about the nature, about the necessity to establish a connection with the people and the nature if you want to live and live with a good conditions in this planet. So we need breathe and getting calm and take care about how we will live in this planet in this moment. And that community can learn about it. So I think this is very, very important for us to preserve and to help that communities to live with this kind of life and respect this.
What are the specificities of the islands in Brazil?
Brazilian coast we have a lot of islands with a different characteristics. Big islands, small islands, with people, without people, with an attraction of biodiversity. Well, we have a different characteristics. So, and this is very important if Brazil wants to plan a different way to development. So you can discard this, but we are lose a lot. So I think if the Brazilian government and the Brazilian society agree the value of the island for the history importance, for the ecology important, for the social important, I think get the Brazilians strong.
What is your next project?
The next project, We understand environmental education is very important, but it's very important in different levels. You can work with environmental education on the schools, with the child, and this is very important. But I think if you need change different ways and different levels of the society, we need to work with different people. So we're now working very hard with the chairmen, with the CEOs, with the presidents of the big companies who work in the marine areas, in the coastal areas, working in the resorts or nautic areas and the yacht clubs, because that industry live and depends of the conditions of the oceans and the coastal area. But we understand they need a little bit, understand a little bit more about environmental things and how is important their responsibility linked with this.
I see there are a lot of surfboards here. What are they for?
This is one project, and it's in environmental education. In our staff we have a lot of surfers, so we try to link something what we like and a way to educate people. So we have a friend, and he's an artist, and he paints the surfboards with thematics, with marine ecosystems linked with climate change. So here you can see the coral reefs, wasting the colors about the high temperatures of the ocean. Here you can saw some fish, and you know about the stocks, the linked with the stocks and the pollution. Here you can saw the Antarctic and the relation with the warming, global warming. And so we have a different strategy to show the people the importance with the protect of marine conservation and the problems about the climate change. So if you want to help us, you can try to serve. Galera do Green Hearts, parabéns pelo trabalho de vocês, é fantástico o que vocês fazem, continuem nesse caminho, nós estamos aqui no Brasil, até mais, nos vemos.